All right, let's go through the finalists position by position and show you who are the top vote getters. And then we're going to start from scratch here, folks. Then they're going to compete. Most votes will get them in the starting spot. Cal Raleigh, over 3 million votes so far. He is going head-to-head with Alejandro Kirk. Alejandro Kirk got a contract extension, and now he's having a great year, but Cal Raleigh's the headline.
Yeah, he's the slam dunk right now. He's on pace to obliviate the home run record for a catcher. It's been a great first, really, 10 weeks this season for Alejandro Kirk. I'm with you. They signed him that long-term extension. Caught me a little bit by surprise, but the Jays were dead right.
Raleigh and Kirk are your finalists in the American League for a catcher. As for first base, Vladdy and Paul Goldschmidt, Tom. This is fascinating.
This is a very interesting rate. Goldie's had a great bounce-back season last year, probably his worst year power-wise. Vladdy with a contract extension, and Goldie at 37, 38. How about getting back to the All-Star game? That would be pretty cool. He deserves to be on this finalist list for sure.
Paul Goldschmidt, a finalist at first base. At second base, how about Gleyber Torres, almost 2 million votes, and young Jackson Holliday?
Yeah, Gleyber took that free agent market, signed that flyer with the Tigers, and he's been just hitting. Tigers right now the best team in the American League. There's so many reasons why, and Gleyber's one. Jackson Holliday off to a slow start. They're back to putting him at the top of the batting order, which I know you love, Greg.
I do.
He's starting to turn into the player we all knew he was going to be.
Let's move on to American League shortstop. The two finalists for this spot, Jacob Wilson, the rookie for the A's with over 1.8 million votes, and Bobby Witt Jr.
Wow, that's a surprise, right? Not that Wilson doesn't deserve this honor here being a finalist, but had no brand name recognition until this year. Bobby Witt Jr., everybody knows him, right? MVP runner-up. How about that position is so stacked? Jeremy Pena actually is second in the AL in WAR. Didn't make the finalists.
Not a finalist. There are a couple snubs. There always are every year. At third base, a familiar name, Jose Ramirez, and the currently injured Alex Bregman.
Yeah, this is going to be a slam dunk. I think if Bregman would have been healthy, I'd like to see what the numbers could be. He's been a one-man wrecking crew in Cleveland for about the last 4 or 5 years now. Not a lot of protection in that lineup. Bregman has brought a winning attitude to the Red Sox. Hopefully they get him back on the soon, but I think this is Jose Ramirez, slam dunk.
Again, we're walking through the finalists at each position, and you can vote for them to be the starter at the Midsummer Classic. Let's go to the American League outfield. How about Javier Baez is one of the finalists to start the All-Star game. Mike Trout, Stephen Kwan, and Riley Green has been one of the hottest hitters in baseball, Tom.
Some great comeback stories there, right? With Mike Trout and Javier Baez. Wow, Riley Green, happy to see him get this recognition. I know he's been in the All-Star game before, but to me, he's the heart and soul of what's been the best team in the American League, the Detroit Tigers.
4 players for 2 spots, because remember, Aaron Judge, with the most votes in the American League, is automatically starting at right field. Let's move on to designated hitter. A couple feel-good stories here. Ryan O'Hearn with 1.762 million votes, and Ben Rice, who really has had a nice year for the A's.
He's had a solid year. He's actually been behind the plate a little bit, too. When the Orioles were struggling the first 6 weeks of the season, O'Hearn was the lone bright spot. Deserving, I think he'll end up slam dunk winning the ALDH, and it's been a good story for Ben Rice.
Here are the finalists in your infield and DH. Behind the plate, it's Raleigh and Kirk, Vladdy and Goldie at first base, Gleyber and Jackson Holliday at second, Jacob Wilson and Bobby Witt Jr. at short. And let me just chat about that for one quick second. Because, like I said before, the votes go to 0 now. We're going to reset the votes, and now these guys get to go head-to-head. Popularity matters, and Jacob Wilson's cooled off a hair. His batting average is under 350. Tom, he's going to have to turn it on to overcome the momentum that Bobby Witt Jr. generated just this morning on MLB Central by announcing that he is going to partake in the World Baseball Classic for Team USA.
That matters, right?
Oh, it's big.
And listen, he's going to play a much bigger role because last time he didn't get to play a whole lot.
Yeah.
He got to soak up kind of the veterans around him and what he learned in that group. But Jacob Wilson is the kind of guy you can throw up 3, 4 hits any night of the week. So he can still influence this vote because now it's about what have you done for me lately? Because it is a popularity vote at this point.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I think Bobby Witt, it's been a down year for him, but he's still quite a player.
He's got the name recognition for sure. So best of luck to Jacob Wilson. Let's move on to the National League and dive into position by position and show you who the finalists are. We'll start at catcher. And to me, man, Tom, there's a slam dunk. Will Smith, obviously, but good for Carson Kelly.
There's so many good comeback stories in these finalists, but I'm with you on Will Smith. I mean, he's been as good as anybody in the big leagues with runners in scoring position. He's been terrific behind the plate. The Carson Kelly story, the swing change, what he's done for that catching group where they had no offense last year in Chicago has been deserving of this attention.
Will Smith and Carson Kelly are your National League catchers. To first base we go. Star-studded, Dan. Freddie Freeman.
Yeah,
Freddie Freeman.
That's a good one.
Boy, this is a battle of two heavyweights right there. Freddie Freeman, hard to believe in his mid-30s, playing as well as he's ever played, keeps himself in great shape. And Pete Alonso, the first 6 weeks of the season, while Juan Soto was struggling a bit, had kept the Mets afloat, had them in first place. Been a solid year, a walk year too. He has an opt-out at the end of the year.
Who's more popular, Freddie or Pete Alonso? That's a great one. To second base we go. Ketel Marte is a cut above, but good for Tommy Edman as a finalist at second base.
Yeah, you could have had him in the outfield or the infield. He's such a versatile player, but I'm a huge Ketel Marte fan. You know, a couple of years ago, he was an all-star snub, and he really took it personally. It drove him to be better. And I think Martell is going to win this, but Tommy Edman, I just love watching this guy play.
Dodgers love signing him. He's been money for them. To shortstop we go. And, yeah, Francisco Lindor and Mookie Betts, Dan. No Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah, if you're talking about star power, name recognition, NL shortstop, where it goes. Frankie Lindor off to a white-hot start. He's fizzled a little bit the last couple of weeks. Mookie Betts, shortstop, second base, right field, third base. You could probably put him on the mound if you like. Two tremendous players.
To the hot corner we go. Manny Machado is the leading vote getter at that position, and the surging Max Muncy of the Dodgers.
Dodgers-Padres rivalry is going to play out at the third base voting. Listen, Muncy is just red hot this week alone. Manny's put up probably the better numbers overall, but once Max Muncy got these glasses in April, he's been hitting like an all-star. I can't wait to see how this one plays out.
Now, we already know Shohei Ohtani is going to be the starting DH, so we don't need to go over that position. The last position to reveal is National League outfielders. PCA, Teoscar Hernandez, Ronald Acuna Jr. makes the cut, Kyle Tucker, Andy Paez, Juan Soto. No Fernando Tatis Jr.
No, the guy that strikes me right off the get-go, Pete Crow Armstrong. He has turned into the face of the Chicago Cubs. A little bit of a free swinger. He can run him down in the outfield. Teoscar Hernandez. And listen, Ronald Acuna has only been back for a handful of games, but he's already made a huge difference. And Paez has been amazing for the Dodgers.
PCA's had that breakout year. He definitely is the obvious center fielder. But, Tom, if I told you the starting corner outfielders would be James Wood and Fernando Tatis Jr. right next to PCA, you'd probably buy that. Those two guys not finalists.
Yeah, I mean, Corbin Carroll as well. He's got a great argument.
Right.
James Wood, to me, is a starting. He's got quality to be a starting all-star in the game. But it's a stacked outfield, let's face it. I mean, PCA, I think, is going to win. He's on pace for almost, a 40-40 season. But I don't know how the rest of it's going to play out. It's too close to call. Juan Soto is definitely in the mix now. I wouldn't have said that a month ago. Not even close. I didn't think he was going to the All-Star game, and now he's a finalist.
And Teoscar Hernandez is so beloved. He's having a very good season, don't get me wrong. But Dodger fans love Teoscar Hernandez. Folks, there you have it. Go fill out your 2025 MLB Pro Spirit All-Star ballot right now at MLB.com/vote.